We'll start your interview now. Over to Meenakshi Sundaram, sir.
Good morning, Jagrati.
Good morning, sir.
You are from Bhopal, right?
Yes, sir.
You live in Bhopal? You are born, brought up there?
I was born in Chhatarpur district of Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
And my primary education was also accomplished there. I moved to Bhopal in 2005.
Okay, good. Now, whenever people say about Bhopal, they always talk about Bhopal gas tragedy. Can you tell me what is that? How did it happen and what is the current status? It happened several years ago. Can you give us some idea?
The Bhopal gas tragedy occurred in December 1984. There was a pesticide plant of Union Carbide and its valves had malfunctioned. There was excessive pressure in a storage tank and the toxic methane isocyanate gas, it escaped into the surroundings, which led to toxicity amongst the people. And even today, effects are being seen like toxicity in water, in soil, certain disfigurement in people who were in their mother's womb at that time. They still show some disfigurements. And the company, the American companies, is still to pay entire compensation to the victims. So Bhopal gas tragedy and its impact still live on in Bhopal, sir.
No, but what is that you can do? Supposing if you are the collector of Bhopal and I want to get this chapter completely closed, what is that is pending and what is that we can do?
So presently, I would focus upon cleaning up the plant. It still has remnants of some toxic chemicals left. So cleaning should be completed at the immediate level. Then
yeah, please go ahead.
The surrounding water and soil, they should be, the top layer can be removed, water can be purified so that the people do not suffer any longer damages now. The obligations of the parent company towards the people, the compensation, it is a still going litigation. It should be settled at the earliest. And if I am the district collector, I'll make sure every beneficiary gets those the benefits. So some future arrangements I'll also look into, that any plant which comes up is not in an area which is densely populated, and inspections are regularly done. So I'll take certain steps for future and for closing this particular chapter.
What is the moral of this story? What is that we have learned as a nation from the Bhopal tragedy?
That we have learned the importance of preparedness both at the level of the industries and at the level of community, as well as to negotiate our compensation obligations better when we are dealing with the foreign companies.
No, but what about the management of the pollutants or the risky elements? Are you doing anything on that?
So please pardon?
No, before we set up an industry, what kind of precautions we are taking? Do we have anything on those lines?
Yes, nowadays we have environmental impact assessment whereby these pollutants are taken care of. So we have to be more cautious when we are dealing with such hazardous industries.
Okay, we will leave that at this stage. Now, tell me, you are an electrical engineer by profession, right?
Sir.
And you have also worked for a couple of years in BHEL Bhopal.
Yes, sir.
Why did you leave that? What was your plan? You are not willing to continue with your specialization?
Sir, I have always wanted to be a part of civil services while in college. But I was apprehensive of risk and uncertainties that the exam had. So I wanted to stand on my own feet. Initially, I had the plan that I'll prepare along with my job. So BHEL, one branch was in my hometown. So I thought I'll be able to manage well. But when I joined there, I thought now it is the time I should prepare myself, and I was financially stable. I had my savings. So
fair enough. One last thing. You are a public speaker, right?
Sir.
Now tell me, when an audience is not responding to you and you still want to make a point, how do you handle that situation?
So I usually start involving the audiences. If it is a small audience, I would bring up questions that are relevant to them. I would ask them. If it is a very large audience, I would have simple interactions like raising your hands or putting it down. Sometimes a very simple strategy is to just make them clap suddenly. So it is these small interactions, these help in gaining their attention back.
What were your audiences like when you made the public speeches?
So usually they were around me. In school, my classmates. In college, they were literary societies. And while at BHEL, there were contract labor, women contract labor. They had their own associations and they used to invite speakers. So there I got my good audience, diversified audience.
Good luck. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alur sir.
Good morning, Jagrati.
Good morning, sir.
Jagrati, the US has withdrawn recently from Afghanistan. That is after having been there for the last 20 years. Why do you think they went there in the first place? If they had to withdraw in the mess that they have left Afghanistan in, do you think there was any justification for them to go in the first place? And if there was any, was it not met much before the actual withdrawal that took place?
So when they went, it was in the aftermath of 9/11 attacks, and it was believed that Taliban were providing safe haven to the Al-Qaeda terrorists responsible for that attack. So they went there as a project of war on terror to clear Taliban and terrorist groups off there, and they installed a democratic government. After that, they stayed there because the government was psychologically and materially dependent on the American presence. So in my opinion, their presence was elongated because the Afghan government by itself could not establish a strong public order and was not capable of defending themselves on their own. Their own security forces could not come up. And now I think the US has run out of patience. Even in the last Doha agreement last year, they virtually boycotted the Afghan government. Taliban played their own blackmail tactics. So it is, I think they have run out of patience now, and the manner in which they are leaving is very chaotic. But the failure of Afghan government to reach the grassroots and to have their people support them. Even the government was incompetent and corrupt, could not enter into any negotiation by itself, which US wanted. I think so they was just wanted to withdraw as quickly as possible. They did not even have any strategic interest anymore in Afghanistan.
No, two issues. One, you are saying there was no strategic issue. So if they went there because it was a global center for terrorism, that issue has not been addressed even after their withdrawal or even after having stayed there for 20 years. So what do you have to say on that?
So terrorism, they wiped out Al-Qaeda from Taliban, but they failed to take care of the safe havens in Pakistan, where they were still breeding. So I think that issue remains, and terrorism has been it has been an ad hoc mechanism where they could not breed in Afghan territory, but they did not take any strong call on Pakistan, maybe because they needed Pakistan's support for their military presence in Afghanistan.
No, you are making a contradictory statement. You said that you require Pakistan, they required Pakistan, and yet Pakistan is the hub of all activities and supporter of all this, including Taliban. So how does it play out? You are contradicting when on one you are saying that the Pakistan has been taken support of for promoting their interest in US and for their presence in Afghanistan, and at the same time you are saying that because of them they are not able to do anything more.
So, since Taliban took their safe havens in Pakistan territory, and Pakistan was supporting it, but the US maybe they thought that Taliban was weak enough and it could not resurge, but there were some conflicts in that part, sir. I'll read more on that, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now that the US has, thank you, Jagrati. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Gurucharan sir.
Jagrati, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Jagrati, I see that while you were in college, you were interested in organizing events and you played an important role in that. So let's say you join the IAS, which I'm sure you will, and next year you are asked to, in the LBS NAA, organize an event which the Prime Minister has recently announced. He announced on August 14th that a new event will be held every year. Can you tell us what that is, what his announcement was, and how you might organize it in the academy?
Sir, are you speaking about that partition trauma remembrance day?
Yeah. So what is it called? Remembrance of the partition horrors,
yes,
or some such thing.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So how will you organize it in the academy?
Sir, it is only for the academy and no.
Let's say you organize it for your district.
Okay.
You're the deputy commissioner of the district. How will you organize it?
So my first step will be to prepare a detailed itinerary regarding who the chief guest will be. I would ensure that if some person who has lived through those days or through those horrors could be invited as a speaker. I would also make sure that people of other countries who have lived these horrors, from Pakistan also certain people have experienced it, from Bangladesh, if they can join us virtually, so as we have a collective understanding of horrors on humanity, not just on Indians or who remain, but on humanity collectively. And then I'll be inviting people from all sections, students, industry, and government officials, teachers, even religious leaders. And sir, major events would include some skit playing and role, which will tell the role of religious harmony. So I make the event as to convey a message of how important it is to live harmoniously. And
Okay, Jagrati, you are an electrical engineer by training, right? Personally, I think it's a waste of talent, knowledge, technical expertise if you were to become a civil servant. But nevertheless, what strengths from your electrical engineering discipline do you think you can apply in the civil service?
So my training as an engineer has helped me cultivate a scientific aptitude whenever I'm approaching any project or any issue in my life. So whenever I'll be taking up any social issue, I think I'll be more scientific, evidence-based on that. Data is playing a big role, and engineering helped me analyze data better. Further, sir, as an electrical engineer, if I'm ever posted in power ministry or in any electrification corporation or something, I think I'll be able to contribute better because I have a specialization in that field. Also, sir, my training in BHEL, I worked in an industry and I was in the purchase department. So I have some idea about how industries work and what issues are there. I think I'll be able to.
One last question. You have lived in Chhattisgarh as well as in Madhya Pradesh, right?
Chhatarpur, sir.
Chhatarpur. Okay. So, since you are from Madhya Pradesh, what do you think of the idea of the bifurcation of Madhya Pradesh into two states, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh? Are small states a good thing or a bad thing?
Sir, the idea of small states can be both good and bad, depends on what premises was the bifurcation based on. If bifurcation is based on the premises of political aspirations, developmental needs, then it is justified if a bifurcation can lead to targeted delivery of services. The region of Chhattisgarh has done better in social indicators if we compare it to the when it was a part of Madhya Pradesh. Political aspirations of people were also not fulfilled the way they wanted it to be. So if it leads to better political aspiration fulfillment, better development, it can be justified. But diversification based on cultural tendencies or based on some kind of communal parameters, they cannot do well in the long run. And also we should be first looking, we can address it as a single state and partition should be the last resort.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sunil sir?
Jagrati, I heard you say that the exam is a risk and uncertain, the civil service exam. What if I tell you that for me it was neither a risk nor was it uncertain? Do you believe me?
Yes, sir.
So why is it for you?
Because, sir, when I decided for civil services, I was already in my final year of engineering. So whether in 1 year of my preparation, I'll be able to do well with exam, or whether I should go for a job, there was a choice, and I was not prepared for civil services as such. So I decided that to avoid that uncertainty, I should better make myself financially stable, so that after some time I'm not dependent on my parents. So that risk and uncertainty was there for me, because I was very late in deciding that factor. Some decided earlier, and it is good because they plan their career in a much better manner.
Now I'm going to ask you a personal question, and I want you to respond from a social psychological perspective. Let's say I decide to have dinner with you. I can either persuade you to have dinner with me, or I can manipulate you into having dinner with me. What's the difference?
Persuasion is usually based on convincing a person on the level of evidence, and to present the evidences in an objective
How
manner.
would I present an evidence that I want to have dinner with you?
Sir, persuasion for dinner, sir.
Yes, limit yourself to the case study that I have created, that I want to have dinner with you. I have only two options: one to persuade you, second to manipulate you. What's the difference?
Persuasion would leave the decision to my own will, and you will convince me based on how I want to be doing it. I mean, you'll give me your reasons, but you will not be pushing it on me. While in manipulation, the other person often pushes her own reasons upon the other person's will.
If I keep telling you, please, 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 is that manipulation?
No, sir, that won't be manipulation unless some reasons are given to change my perception of that.
Okay, forget the case study. Differentiate between persuasion and manipulation. It's part of your syllabus in sociology, if I recall correctly. That's why.
Persuasion is the act of bringing about a change in the perception of the other person.
And manipulation?
Manipulation is usually meant to fulfill one's own ideas of.
Yes, in manipulation, there is some hidden agenda. In persuasion, there need not be any hidden agenda. As simple as that.
Now I recall exactly. There is a hidden agenda in manipulation. Vested interests are there.
Correct. Vested interest, hidden agenda means manipulation. Then, what is the difference between persuasion, manipulation, and propaganda? Or what is propaganda? Get the comparison. What is propaganda?
Propaganda usually involves to take up a certain issue and to advertise it on a larger scale, to win people on one's own sides, or to.
So are you saying propaganda is a form of persuasion on a large scale, or propaganda is manipulation on a large scale?
It would be manipulation on a large scale, because propaganda is usually done by people who have their interest at a larger level.
Now you're getting it, correct? My last two very quick questions. Our Honorable Prime Minister, I think 2 days ago, announced a major revamp of the Somnath Temple.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Can you tell me anything historical about the Somnath Temple, barring Mahmud of Ghazni, that we all know?
Somnath has served as an important port, I think, in some.
The temple.
The temple. It has been repeatedly being constructed over many times.
Why would that happen?
Because different invaders would.
Mahmud of Ghazni. I don't want to go there. Barring that, can you tell me anything else?
Sir, I cannot exactly recall. Can I take a guess?
Yeah, please. Sure.
I think there is a point from in that temple premises from where and that the light ray reaches directly to the South Pole or something likewise. I'm not sure of that, sir.
Fair enough. Never mind. My last question is about your hobby, Bundelkhandi music. What exactly is Bundelkhandi music, and how would it be different, let's say, from Baghelkhandi music or Rohilkhandi music?
So Bundelkhandi music is prevalent in the Bundelkhand region of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. It uses Bundeli dialect, which is characteristically different from this Bagheli dialect or something. Bagheli has connections with Avdhi. It is quite similar to Braj Bhasha, whereas this Bundeli dialect is unique in itself. And sir, its emphasis on social issues is very important. It is a great source of studying sociology of the region.
Now, you seem to belong to the Bundelkhand region, right?
Yes, sir.
Where is Baghelkhand and where is Rohilkhand?
The Baghelkhand comprises of these districts of Satna, Rewa, and parts of southern central Uttar Pradesh.
And Rohilkhand?
So I think Rohilkhand entirely lies in Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, you're right. Which part? Can you make a guess?
So it is in the central portion, I think, but I'm not very sure about the exact location.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
I finished.
Okay, I think it's my turn then. Public administration is an important wing in the running of any district or anything. So from this perspective, how do you think that governance and government, what is the difference between that?
Governance refers to the process whereby people are delivered with basic public services for the overall development of the country. The government as a word refers to the body which ensures this process.
Sorry, please repeat your last sentence.
Government, ma'am, as government generally refers to these bodies of the executive and legislature and judiciary, which ensure this process of governance in the country. But governance is the process of delivery of basic public services to the people at large and ensure their development.
Where do you fit public administration into this?
Public administration would be a part of governance.
Okay, fine. Do you think women should require reservation in the UPSC civil services?
Ma'am, in my own personal opinion, over reservation, I would prefer equality of opportunity rather than a clear-cut reservation. It might.
How is this? Yeah.
Ma'am, reservation will reserve particular seats services. But given that India is a patriarchal society, the selection will continue to be challenged that it is not the merit of the women, but rather it is the affirmative actions that they have brought them there. Then what section of women are we approaching? Women are not a homogeneous class. There are women who require such reservation support, and there are privileged women who can compete on their own merit. So even if reservation is there, we need a very nuanced approach towards it. Further, I think equality of opportunity in terms of good education, opportunities for coaching or extra help from the government side, and awareness campaigns, especially in the rural areas, which can bring up women from the grassroots. They would be more apt, in my own opinion, ma'am.
Okay. Jagrati, can you throw some light on the 108th amendment, the Constitution Bill?
Ma'am, 127th Constitution Amendment Bill. It aims to restore the state's power to identify.
No, 108. 108.
I don't recall exactly what provisions were.
Reservation for women?
I'm unable to recall. I'll read on that now.
Okay, no problem. Are women really capable of doing multitasking, or is it just a fad?
I think women are capable of multitasking because of their socialization, the way they are socialized. in a patriarchal society, I think this is a silver line that they come up as multitaskers.
Can you give an example?
Ma'am, recently when work from home has come up, women are taking up their work, child caring activities, cooking and domestic work, everything at once. Whereby in the same household, the men who are taking up work from home, they are not engaged in any of these activities at a significant level. This shows their multitasking capabilities.
Is it capability or necessity?
I think the necessity in first place has built up their capabilities. And more than necessity, it was the demand of the patriarchal society that women. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I understood your point. Jagrati, last question. You were mentioning that the August 14th need to be celebrated and things like that. But human life is all about evolving, changing, and moving ahead. So from that perspective, do you think that celebration of horrors and Black histories are required?
Ma'am, our evolution are based on our collective experiences. So if we draw lessons from these experiences and correct our future courses, then such remembrances are apt. It is not only about recounting those horrors, but also the reasons behind them, that how communal disharmony, it had wide-ranging impacts on all the societies across all the three nations. It was not just about India, but about all the three nations. So if celebrated in the right spirit, it can be a moment to cherish our religious harmony in the country and even international solidarity. So between the two countries, it can be a source of soft power if we also include Pakistan and Bangladesh into it.
Okay, thank you. We will. Your interview is over. We'll give you a quick feedback, Jagrati. Starting with Meenakshi Sundaram, sir.
Jagrati,
So,
there are certain very good points about you. You are quite cheerful and you are quite enthusiastic. I appreciate your enthusiasm to face the questions and answer. I have two suggestions for improvement. See, one suggestion is you have a method of answering the questions. When you know the answer, you jump and at top speed you give the answer. When you do not know the answer, you go absolutely blank. For about 1 minute, there is no response at all from you. We do not know whether you are listening or not listening. No, you find some moderation between the two. My advice is, even when you know the answer to your question, slow down. Take some 30 seconds to give the impression you are thinking and you are not talking just like that. So take the small break and please be slow in response. Yes. Do not talk very fast because probably the questioner may not be able to follow your speed. So you may have to regulate that. The second thing I want to tell you is that you have used sociology only to get through in your mains examination. It appears, you give me the impression that you are not interested in sociology before the exam and you have forgotten that is your subject. Better you go through it between now and your interview date. Have some fundamentals and you should be able to answer questions on sociology. So that is what I would like you to suggest. You can do very well. You are enthusiastic. You can do. Please go ahead. Wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thank you.
Alur sir.
Jagrati, you have a great personality. You articulate very well. You modulate. Overall, the impression you give is very, very positive. The points that have been conveyed by Meenakshi Sundaram sir. Besides that, you may like to be a little more updated on, besides sociology, what you mentioned about current affairs.
Yes.
And the hot subjects that are currently unfolding. So those issues should, whether it is domestic or international, those things we should be abreast with. Otherwise, I think you can do great and all the very best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Guru Charan sir.
Good interview, Jagrati. I would only add what Dr. Meenakshi Sundaram emphasized. Think a little more before you answer. slow down your answers. But otherwise, you're doing extremely well. Good luck. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Should I tone down my speed of speaking also?
Yes, you should.
No, you see,
Not tone.
don't slow down your thinking, but slow down your response.
Yes.
First, take up and then respond. Okay.
Sunil sir?
In fact, I would like to learn from you how to slow down thinking. This is the first time I'm hearing something like that. But I completely agreed with what was said. You've got a great personality, great articulation. I have a very strong feeling you'll do very, very well. Just to add two small things. One, some of your answers, I think you could have kept them a bit short. They were too long, or so I thought. Second, if you recall the question I asked in sociology, that was directly from the syllabus. And it was very, very basic. I just sort of made it into some kind of a case study of having dinner with you, but it was correct. So there I would have expected an instant answer. It was very basic. It was part of your optional. And as I think General Halura said, the current event, Soma Temple has been in the news for the last 2-3 days. So very likely somebody might sort of decide to ask you that kind of question. But overall, I think you'll do really well. I mean, no doubt there. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Jagrati, nothing more to add. I think you're bang on there, except for a few of the comments which has been made. So I think you'll do very well. All the best.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, Halur sir asked me about Afghanistan.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Sir, can you please tell me what exactly is that reason that now they're leaving while terrorism is not finished yet?
I can't be wasting other co-panelists' time on this. Okay. So if you really are serious, you can read. Otherwise, you can call me up. I have no issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jagrati.
Thank you and all the best.
All
You'll
the
do
best.
well.
You can log on.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.